All right, it is here. I was not expecting it to show up this fast, but literally, like, I put up the Buster video on Friday, or the Destroyer video from Fans Hobby, MB-23, and talking about how I had hoped that the repaint would come out fast because I like Dreadwind colors better. And then literally Saturday, like, I didn't realize it was coming. Saturday, the doorbell rang, and there it was on my porch, was this guy. And you can see I put the decals on that come with it, like here on the other side of the cockpit and the stripes. And I did an okay job on the stripes this time. I've also put Decepticon logos on him because you have to. Also, I learned a thing real quick. Some of my videos lately have had like a little kind of blurry light effect, and I didn't know if it was, or a flickery light, just a slightly flickery light, and I thought maybe it was the fan, but that wasn't it. And then somebody in one of the comments on my recent video said it could be that my shutter speed wasn't matched up, but I'm shooting on my iPhone. I don't really control any of that stuff. I just kind of use the default shooting thing, so I didn't think that was it. But I was trying to experiment with it, and it turns out, my review table here, I have like some LED strips up here, and I have a remote control for them, and I thought, because you can make them flicker, I thought maybe I had them on a slight flicker that was just my eyes weren't noticing, but the camera was, and that was not it. But it turns out I can brighten them and dim them, and if I start to dim them, watch this, if I just dim it like 2 notches, you'll kind of start to see on the edges of the video that flickering, like the more I dim them, kind of seeing it up here in the corner, it starts to flicker a little bit. And the camera, like my eyes don't pick it up, but the camera does. Especially if I were to rechange the focus. I guess now it's not doing it so much. But there's a margin where it just would zoom a lot, or it would flicker a lot. And then they were literally just 2 tiny clicks off of full bright. And once I pumped them all the way up to full, the flickering went away. So I solved that problem. Anyway, that's my little lesson for the day. Let's talk about this cool guy because I was super stoked to have it. Like, it's gone with me everywhere. Like, it was on my nightstand, on my nightstand. Like, if I've been in the room, it's been in the room with me because I love this figure. Like they said, the Destroyer version was great. It's the figure itself is fun, but I really love Dreadwind, and to have a nice modern version is super great. Anyway, speaking of modern versions, here is MB-23A Fright Storm is what they're calling him. Here is G1 Original Dreadwind. And here is the Power of the Primes version. And like, they really match the colors. Like my G1 is yellowed a little bit, unfortunately. But if you look at some of the grayish to the missiles, and like the teal especially, they matched it really, really nicely. So yeah, there they are together. I have the BotCon one somewhere that they did from the Jetfire mold. Because I found the paperwork the other day, but I haven't been able to find the figure. It's probably in a bin somewhere that I just didn't have time to do it. It was probably out in the shed where it was really hot, and I didn't dig too long because it was super hot, as I just mentioned. But anyway, there's a shot of all of them together. Also, here's a shot of the G1 high test, and then the Power Pilot. It's not quite as, he does have kind of a bird-esque beak head, but it's not quite as gargoyle-y as the G1 version. But again, the colors match nicely, although again, they've got the chrome here on the engine versus just the plain grayish beige plastic. But yeah, you can see the detailing there and how they match up. Now, on the original G1, if you're the Power Masters would unlock the transformation, and as we mentioned in Destroyer's video, that is not the case here. But yeah, but there's that one with the engine on. This one came with no engine, and then this little platform. I'm not going to pop this off. I don't like popping things off of little hinge clips if I can avoid it, unless I happen to do it while I'm transforming it here. But you can pop this right here at the clip. You can pop this assembly off and then fold it down if you just want to have the engine exposed like the G1. Actually, you know what? I'll do it just because it's an extra step, and I want to be careful with like I mentioned in the Destroyer video. Like I try not to do that too often just because I don't want to wear that clip out or potentially crack it. But just to show it off with the original. We'll put this one off to the side. He has no power engine, so we'll just set him off to the side for now. But yeah, you can lift this up and put him up. I didn't get folded up. Put him in there, and then you can fold this just down over it, which actually kind of evokes some of the detailing up here on the fuselage of the G1. But you can see he's fully exposed here on the original, and you can do that. Whoop, that's what you get for holding him by a hinge. And I pushed in the thruster. Stop transforming before I'm ready to transform. And then you can unclip that and fold this clip down in here and have, if you want to have it look more like the original, have the Power Master engine sit there. But then you've got this extra clip, or this extra little panel, which I don't care for. So anyway, we'll put them off to the side. We'll go ahead and reattach the panel here. And again, you may need a small little tool here. I'm going to get a screwdriver out and flip that up real quick. There is like a tiny little notch you can get, but it's difficult to get to, and I'm not going to struggle with it here on camera. So I'll go ahead and do that. Put him back on. Fold it back down. Come on. There we go. And we'll get to the transformation, which is the same as Destroyers. And again, transforms exactly the same as Destroyer. So here he's got the landing gear and the legs. You just flip them up. Although again, if you want to have the landing gear out in jet mode, it helps when you're transforming him to just kind of bend the knee and get your thumb under there, because you can kind of sometimes get in there from the side and get a little bit of a grip on the landing gear. But as you can see, like one side was really easy. This side just really doesn't want to budge. It just doesn't have the little extra lip, I guess, that this one does. So flip those out before you go. And then up here, you got to open up the, helps if you kind of slide this forward too to open up these panels. Open up these panels, which we'll use for transformation because you can see his head there. But then this piece, the wheel folds up and then folds in and just barely slides. It has the clearance to slide across his face there. Go ahead and pop the guns off since they're going to want to come off anyway during transformation. And again, we've already extended the nose cone, so you can go ahead and do that. Then this whole rear piece, the tail flips around. I'll lift this up. You can leave the pilot in the engine thing. This will just kind of come up and cover it. Although you want to make sure you also flip out these little, lift this up. Again, collapse the engine in and open up these two little panels here and flip them all the way around to the back. Fold up the tail fins, and then this whole assembly will come up and kind of cover the pilot from below, so he's protected on the back there. The legs, unpeg them right here. Rotate this around. Open up these little panels right here on in the body. And then we're going to plug these in later because I've had a little bit more success getting all the torso and the shoulder bits that I was talking about on Destroyer tabbed in better if I fold this down first and then snap the legs up into place. I don't know. It doesn't seem to be any reason why that should be the case, but maybe it's just me being superstitious because it's worked for me twice that way. I don't know. But yeah, also like these are the stripes are stickers. The Decepticon logos are repro labels. I got one here, one on the nose cone. I put one on his little waist belt because they represent the nose cone one, and you'll see what I'm talking about when I get there. Originally, I had a picture where I had these up here because on the G1 toy, these stickers are large and kind of right here where this hinge is. So first I had them right up here against this hinge on this side, and I thought they looked better out here on the wing, so I carefully peeled them off and stuck them down here on the wing, and I did, in fact, like the look of that much better, so I stuck them there. But, I mean, however you decide to do it is up to you. Right where they should be is right where this hinge is, so you got to kind of make some compromise one way or the other here on this if you're gonna do that. So anyway, go ahead here, and again, we got the cool shotgun arms like I was talking about last time. Pull them down, slide them up, open them up. Go ahead and open up his fingers because if you want to get the guns in his hand, you got to open up his fingers from where they are in vehicle mode. They're just a little too tight to easily slide the gun in, I found. But yeah. Anyway, extend the cockpit and slide these two halves out, and then go up one more, slide these two halves out. The whole thing's going to want to come out. Make sure when you're doing this to hear that click. You want to make sure these are fully extended so everything lines up properly and you've got the right amount of clearance. You want to hear that click. This panel right here flips up, and you kind of fold it up like this, and then you can fold this panel down and pull this up. You want to pass this through and flip that around to the back, and then you can bring the head out. That's just an order of operations clearance thing, and then you can rotate the head. As you rotate the whole thing, rotate the head up and around like that. The arms actually slide up. There's a notch here, and then you can kind of slide them up a little higher to the upper notch, and that's going to line, and then fold this in like that and close. Well, okay. These are, that's what happened on Buster ones. These are, you can see they're on rails, so it's easy to pop those off with, there's a little clip. You can just slide those back on. But you want to, and again, there's a little catch here that's supposed to hold them. Sometimes it doesn't, especially if you get, depending on how far back you're sliding them from, it gets the momentum. But you want to slide that just as far in as you can, and then fold up the nose cone like this, and then bring this down like that, and then you should, and when you push that back, these should go right over those tabs and lock into place. And like I said, I don't know why it's different if I put these in first. I don't know if it's just the maneuvering over it, but doing it like that, I found that those shoulder tabs lock into place and actually stay very nicely. And you can see they're kind of wibbling them in and out as they move, but they're staying tabbed in, which is nice. And then fold this panel down behind the head like that, and fold the head back, and then you've got his upper body all done. And then just come up here and plug the waist in like that. And like I said, you still get some waist swivel there the way they've designed it, which is really cool even when it's all plugged in. Then down here, open up these panels. I'm doing it out of order from the instructions, but that's okay. And then get the feet out. And again, on Buster, I was having a hard time getting him to stand with, because you're supposed to, these front parts of the shin extend out just a smidge at the top and bottom. But then once I folded the foot out, one, I was pushing it back in when I'd fold the foot out, but I would also have an issue where this was extended, it was getting onto the tip of this foot, this cut wasn't working right, and it's because I wasn't pushing the foot all the way forward. You can see there's now like a little bit of a gap there, and when I flip that out, now it fits properly. It's just a matter of making sure that when you flip the feet out, you do bring that ball joint that it's on all the way forward, and then you've got the clearance to have him stand without this part of the shin hitting the top of the foot and keeping him and kind of making him want to tilt backwards or flop backwards. Then you just click him out. One click to the side. Again, his head's off camera, but we'll zoom up here, don't worry. And there, oh, look at that. Like I said, Destroyer is great, but it will always be Dreadwind for me. And again, here's what I was talking about. He's got a specific spot molded on kind of his, just below his belt buckle, for a logo. I wasn't sure if I wanted the 2 right here, although this is, but if you look at the G1 version, he does have both of them in his robot mode. It's just this one's hidden in jet mode. So in jet mode, he does have 2 there, but which isn't technically correct. But he's got all the same posability that we saw on Destroyer. I don't know if I need to go over all of it. Like he's got the hinges there, swivel, ratcheting, bicep swivel, hinge elbows. He's got wrist swivel. He's got fully posable fingers. He does have, like, again, not a huge amount of waist swivel, but he does have some waist swivel there for action poses. Ball joint at the neck, ratcheting or thigh swivel, ratcheting hips front and back, side to side. Ankle tilt or ball joint at the ankle. Just a lot of fun. He's got some side to side here. But yeah, just a nice posable version of Dreadwind. And man, I love this. He's got gold eyes versus the red. We'll give him his guns. And again, he does have a bit of a backpack. We showed that on Buster. But really, that's kind of endemic to Dreadwind. Like every version of him has a thing. And at least when you turn him sideways, he's a robot with a big backpack. If you turn, like the G1, he's got a unique look. I love the way he looks in robot mode from the front. But if you turn him sideways, you start to see the issue where, like, here's his legs, here's his arms, here's his head way back here. He still has, a pretty big backpack back here. You can alleviate it a little bit by bringing this down and having it hang down behind his legs and folding the wings in a little bit more. But you can see his head just sitting way back past his shoulders. He looks ridiculous from the side. So to have a properly proportioned one with a backpack, admittedly, is just fantastic. Like I love this figure. I'm sorry, I'm fanboying a little bit. I'm really, really happy with this one, and I can't wait for the what do they call it? Lernian is the Japanese version. Dark Strike. It's not Dark Strike. Is it Dark Strike? Something like that. Night Strike, something. It's something Strike instead of Darkwing. But yeah. I'm looking forward to having those two together again. They've just always been a fun pair. But like I said, if I had to get rid of one of them, I'd get rid of Darkwing in a heartbeat. Dreadwind has always been a favorite of mine. So to have them here together is super awesome. Again, let's throw in the Power of the Primes here just to have a whole bunch of this guy all together. In one shot, family portrait of Dreadwinds. And again, just because... obviously, still sitting here on my review table from the other day. Here he is with the Destroyer version side by side. Obviously, I haven't put any repo labels on him. He's just with the stock stickers. But yeah, it's amazing to me the difference that the teal makes. Oh, the dishwasher has just kicked on. Fantastic. So you're going to hear that going for a minute or two while I wrap this up. But yeah, the teal just makes all the difference. The teal and the gold eyes really just sell it for me over the... And some of that's because that's what I grew up with. I'm sure if you went over to Japan, they'd be more akin to this one just because that's what they grew up with. But yeah, love it. Fans Hobby, thank you very much for sending it along. Cannot wait for his partner in crime for either version, but especially the one here to go with Fright Storm, because I'm really looking forward to having those two on the shelf next to each other again. Much like I do with G1. I do have my G1 Darkwing in on the shelf next to him as well, and my Power of the Primes Darkwing next to him on the shelf right in front of the G1 versions. I'll have to find a place for these. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good night. Ignore my dishwasher. I hope you all are having a great week, great weekend. Not sure when this one's going to go up, but yeah, take it easy.